Thanks, Max. Thanks, everybody, first of all, for joining us. My name is Jason Glover. I am the Vice President of Global Sales here at BCD. It's not very often that you have hardware guys that are actually going to talk about software, but that's what I'm going to try and do for this whole team here today, and bring to light some of the kind of advancements in technology that we have that we're actually bringing to the market in a completely different way. So we'll start right out talking about the Harmonize suite of software in general. So Harmonize is kind of our family of products that we've developed. Each one has maybe a little bit different application based on the hardware, based on the deployment. But what you're going to see here is we're going to focus on just a few pieces of that right now. First of all is the Harmonize iDRAC. iDRAC is a health monitoring service that exists inside of our servers, appliances, storage that we've been selling for years. What we did is we took that health monitoring from an IT perspective that existed, and we transitioned that into more of a security application. What I simply mean by that is we're taking that events, those information that is provided. It could be things as disk drive failure. It can be CPU temperature. It could be maybe something's overclocking. Anything that exists inside of that iDRAC service itself is now being populated into the Milestone XProtect client. So again, instead of having to have the separate IT group that's maybe monitoring health and just kind of longevity of the actual drives and the appliances and the servers, etc., we wanted to bring that all to one single pane of glass from a software perspective. So we got a bunch of very, very smart coding guys together in a room, figured out how to make that work, and now we built this full plugin inside of Milestone. As Max had mentioned earlier, any appliance that is in that family, in that series of Milestone appliances that does have iDRAC Enterprise on it, will also have the Harmonize iDRAC plugin as well. Go ahead, Andrew, we can go ahead and move forward on the next one, sir. So Max also mentioned the Harmonize bridge on a couple of different occasions. So any time that we're recording video for a Milestone server or for a Milestone deployment, we wanted to be able to expand that drive. Really what it boils down to. We wanted to be able to take that architecture, that storage, and we wanted to expand that to the cloud. So we started looking at ways to do that, which led us to the Harmonize Bridge. Harmonize Bridge is a partnership in technology between ourselves, BCD, and Tiger Technology, which I'm sure a lot of the Milestone people that are watching this are pretty familiar with. We did sign a very exclusive agreement with Tiger to be kind of the reseller in this space. That technology is used for all kinds of different applications, from media and entertainment all the way down to just simple file transfers. I think one of the interesting things is when you start looking at this is the ability to really take any device that's running Milestone and immediately make it a hybrid cloud appliance. It's really that simple. Apply a license, turn it on, and pick your cloud vendor of choice and start recording to that cloud provider. The other thing that's important to understand is not just having video long-term cloud storage. This also is a great spot if you're trying to manage disaster recovery. Being able to take a snapshot of your database, taking a snapshot of your configuration. In even larger applications, such as maybe a hyperconverged environment, you could literally take a snap clone or a snapshot of your VMware and be able to also bring that into the cloud as well. So again, this is a very cost-effective way to be able to leverage. Maybe you need long-term storage. Maybe you need a few cameras that are going to be what I would call, exceptionally important, and you want to make sure that you have backup upon backup of video. You can absolutely do that with the Harmonize Bridge. You're going to use different tiers based on the cloud provider. So maybe that's a hot tier, maybe it's a cold tier. It might be a long-term archive tier as well, like what we see with some of the larger storage providers. As I mentioned, disaster recovery. Yep, perfect. He beat me to the punch already, so he was ahead of me. So this is a perfect shot of the architecture. This is a group of cloud providers that we're using right now as the cloud providers continue to, let's call it, elevate themselves in prominence. We'll continue to add and maybe even take away from this list. We do have a resale agreement for this space with Wasabi, soon to have a long-term agreement with Live as well, which is the Seagate product. And we're obviously constantly evaluating different cloud architecture tiers and what that would be and how we can bring those to the market. So from an appliance standpoint, keep in mind every milestone appliance that you buy from BCD is going to have this architecture and this application ready to go, and it will be preloaded on those machines. All you'll have to do is license that. And one of the other interesting things too is we're working on a little bit more of a live portal to make that licensing even more user friendly as well. So I always get asked, especially on the milestone side, how does milestone work in a hyperconverged environment or on a hybrid hyperconverged environment? And I always try to explain to people that it really boils down to what you're going to do with it and how you're going to use it. HCI, hyperconverged infrastructure, has been around for a little while. We wanted to take a little bit different approach to it, which was more video centric. We did not want to just take the normal IT methodology where you just layer a bunch of applications in a virtualized environment and just basically turn on the switch and hope that it all works. Because we're video experts, we did a lot of testing, and we continue to do testing today on throughput and scalability and what makes the most sense from a video application standpoint. And what we found was by taking some off-the-shelf technology, pairing it with our harmonized platform, we give ourselves a very, very competitive and a very scalable hybrid HCI approach with our product called Revolve. Revolve comes in 3 different, I'll call them flavors: Deep Store Lite, and then the Deep Store Plus. Really, the main difference is going to be size and scalability. At the end of the day, from an application standpoint, the Deep Store Plus is going to have dual pathing from multiple SAN architectures, so you can actually write to both SANs at the same time. Deep Store Lite is going to be obviously just a scaled down version of that. Deep Store is really where we're seeing more and more inquiries where they want to have some disaster recovery, multiple application levels of management, just not only on the VM side, but in the building automation, security, different applications that they want to run everything together. So there's a few parts of the harmonize. I won't spend a lot of time because you can see it on the screen there, but the interesting thing is as we continue to develop this product, we'll keep adding parts and pieces into this. So harmonize, again, is that family of products that BCD has developed to be able to manage these different applications. So again, we continue to innovate. We're trying to stay at the forefront of this kind of hybrid HCI infrastructure. And again, I think this is a very interesting and very competitive way when you get into a large scale storage application to be able to manage your milestone environment.